Hey, this is Yoshida from the Humanopedia, and today we're going to talk about the pituitary gland, which is the second gland that we're going to talk about from the endocrine system series. In this video, we're going to talk about the pituitary gland, what it actually is, the anatomy, the role, and other diseases and health issues related to the pituitary gland. But first, the hypothalamus. We talked about the role of the hypothalamus in the endocrine system and the brain, how to keep it healthy, and the anatomy in a previous video, so make sure to check out the video. So what is the pituitary gland? The pituitary gland is known as the master gland and is directed by the hypothalamus. The pituitary gland sends out hormone signals to other endocrine glands and regulates activity of other glands in the endocrine system and is the main control center. Without the pituitary gland, nothing else would work. Next up, the anatomy of the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is located at the base of the brain and behind the bridge of the nose. It is attached to the hypothalamus and rests inside a hollowed-out area of the sphenoid bone. The hypothalamus is another part of the brain that affects the pituitary gland. The pituitary gland is around the size of a pea, is half an inch in diameter, and is oval-shaped. There are three main parts to the pituitary gland: the anterior lobe, intermediate lobe, and the posterior lobe. Anterior lobe releases hormones when it receives hormones from the hypothalamus, and when it releases hormones and inhibits hormones. And it also releases a hormone known as ACTH to control cortisol levels in the adrenal glands when you're stressed. Other hormones include the growth hormone and prolactin. The intermediate lobe is a thin layer of cells between the anterior and posterior pituitary gland. This lobe produces MSH, which is a stimulating hormone and is formed by the cleavage of the pro-opiomelanocortin precursor protein. This hormone protects the skin from the UV rays, which helps the development of pigmentations and controls appetite. The posterior lobe stores and secretes two hormones, vasopressin and oxytocin. Vasopressin is also known as ADH or antidiuretic hormone. You might remember this from another video. The antidiuretic hormone helps regulate the water balance in your body by controlling the amount of water that the kidney reabsorbs while filtering waste and secreting it out of your blood. Oxytocin stimulates uterine contraction in childbirth and lactation after childbirth. Now for the role of the pituitary gland in your body. The pituitary gland regulates and monitors many bodily functions through the hormones it produces. It controls metabolism, growth, reproduction, and blood pressure. It also transforms and manages energy from the different foods you eat. Endocrinologists are a type of medical professionals who deal with the pituitary gland and the endocrine system in general. Lastly, diseases and health problems associated with the pituitary gland. Health problems related to the pituitary gland is acromegaly, which is when the pituitary gland produces too many growth hormones. This causes an abnormal growth of the hands, feet, and face. It is caused by a non-cancerous tumor and is mainly existent in middle-aged adults. Craniopharyngioma is when there are tumors which begin and start in the pituitary gland. They develop as solid tumors or cysts, which are hollow sacs filled with fluid. This disease can put pressure on the nerves, blood vessels, or brain tissue near the pituitary gland. Some symptoms include balance problems, confusion, headache, and increased thirst and urination. Prolactinoma is a cancerous tumor which causes the pituitary gland to make too much of the prolactin hormone. Prolactinoma can cause impaired vision and infertility. This disease requires a medical diagnosis. However, it can be treated by a medical professional. Cushing disease is a condition that occurs from high cortisol levels for a long time. The most common cause is from a long-term overdose of cortisol-like glucocorticoids. These are commonly used for treating asthma. Rat's cleft cysts are non-cancerous fluid-filled growths that are developed between the parts of the pituitary gland. These cysts, which are not tumors, usually require treatment and surgery if they interfere with vision or the pituitary gland in general. So, in conclusion, we learned about what the pituitary gland is, where it's located, how it affects us, and the diseases associated with the pituitary gland. Here are the links we used to make this video if you would like to read about the pituitary gland some more. And last but not least, thank you for watching and listening, and please make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for any notification. And remember that we'll be posting a new video on our channel every other Sunday. Talk to you later. Bye!